18-plus-year-old women. Also, with 3 military veterans at the table tonight, can I ask everyone's opinion on equalizing the military draft to include registering 18-plus-year-old women? Also, for the Alex fans, Andrew, please don't obfuscate. Love you, Crucible Commander-in-Chief. Vets, what do you think?
Yes, women should be drafted. And if you don't know this already, other countries are already requiring 2 years. Italy is an example of that.
Finland is like that.
Yeah.
Israel is like that.
Yes, women should be in the military draft if there's one.
Okay. Anybody else?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
At the very least, they should be held to the same standards of selective service.
I totally disagree.
Yes. Okay, what do you think?
I don't think that women should vote or should be drafted.
Ooh,
so I would remove the responsibility arc from women when it comes to voting and when it comes to being drafted. I think that the military is far better with women in support roles. I think that law enforcement is far better with women in support roles and not in primary roles. So no, I completely disagree. I would eliminate the draft for women, but I'd also eliminate some other things like voting and some other things like that.
I got to tell you just one critical position that a woman played in Afghanistan in the middle of a war zone in a way that a man could never. And that is, during the day, in many villages in Afghanistan, the men go away to work, which leaves behind villages full of women and kids by themselves. Okay.
Just
and
like
what happens is you need a woman to go into those spaces in the middle of a war zone to go have conversations with those women for intel purposes, General McChrystal, winning hearts and minds, you name it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's religious reasons that men cannot speak to those women. You need women that can be on the front lines. You need women to do those jobs.
So that's still a support role.
It is not.
It is.
My friend, it is not. I was part of an 8-woman female engagement team. I promise you, nothing about my job was a support role.
So let me ask you a question, like an honest question. Are the standards in the United States Army for women and their physical readiness and fitness less than that of men in combat roles?
Okay, so
Yes.
Believe me, I've been debating this since I was 17 years old. I'm happy to talk to you about this. Yes, to answer your question. Hold on, wait.
I just want to finish this one point.
Okay.
Is there a single female Navy SEAL?
Oh, yeah, there is actually.
I thought there was one female ranger. Is there a female
there's
SEAL?
multiple female rangers as well.
I wasn't aware that there was a female
Kristen
SEAL.
Greist is one of them.
She's a female Navy SEAL?
I wasn't worried about a SEAL, but I know about a ranger.
Oh, no, sorry, I cannot name any off the top of my head, but that is not because there's not. There definitely is.
I don't think there's a single female Navy SEAL that's actually gone through basic underwater demolition school and passed it.
Okay, well, hold on a second, because now we're getting into women even being allowed to even try, okay?
They're allowed to try.
Okay, but I know the dates and timelines on this shit. So 2016 was the first year women were even allowed to even attempt to go into those roles. And I was actually one of those first women that even went to go through the schools for it. When I went through OCS, I was going through OCS with the intent to become one of the first female infantry officers, okay? It took me asking 8 years in a row to even go to air assault school, okay? And I got denied, I was multiple things in the military, but I was in for 16 years. But what's really, really important is I asked for 8 years to go. And I met, not just meet the physical requirements. The physical requirements are on a scale of 0 to 300. I not only maxed it at 300 on the women's scale, which I'll give you that, but I went over that. And I met what the 18-year-old males were doing. I was running 2 miles in 12 minutes, which is 6-minute miles. That's pretty fucking fast, okay? And I did that as a very, very capable, qualified female. I still wasn't allowed to go to air assault school. Here's the reason why. You're a girl. You'll never make it through. For 8 years, I got told that. And finally, on the 8th year, I made it through. So I just want to tell you, I fully agree with women being held to the same standard as male. But yes, we do have physical differences. That does not mean in today's age that we can't fight the same way.
Let me ask you a logical question. The United States military was separated by men and women, and there was a internal conflict, an internal war where half of the Army went against the other half. They had the same resources, same everything. One half was women, one half was men. Which one would win overwhelmingly?
So, sorry, can you say that question one more time?
Yeah. Let's assume we split the Army in half, gave them exactly the same resources, exactly the same manpower, exactly the same tanks, jets, air support, everything.
The men would probably
Men on one side, women on the other. Who wins?
I don't know, because there's been some amazing.
know.
Come on.
The men would probably.
Amy,
No,
Lieutenant, you do know.
And that's when the
I'm
cognitive
sorry,
dissonance comes
I'm
in,
sorry,
and
I disagree. There's some incredible women leading strategic battles right now today.
I agree.
Today.
But
in fact, the Navy is led by a woman today.
I agree. But there's,
today.
but
the
there's,
chief of staff.
Right. But my point is,
and it goes down.
there aren't enough.
Chief of staff.
Keep going down the ranks.
Right, but there aren't. By comparatively, there aren't enough of like
hand-to-hand combat. Men would win.
Okay, right, but there aren't enough like female tank commanders that went to NTS. And
we didn't get the opportunity to even go.
But that's okay, right? But that's the point. Is there aren't enough women to where you'd be able to pull that up.
Yeah.
Well, let's just take it to the next level. Let's assume there was, and it was totally equalized. The force was equalized as far as you had all the same resources, the exact number of women to men, the exact same amount of technology. You still think women would even have a chance?
Absolutely, they have a chance.
Well, that's when the cognitive dissonance gets to the point where I just disconnect.
I mean, we went to the moon because of a woman.
No, we did not go to the moon because of a woman. That's ridiculous.
No.
It's the most ridiculous
shit. It's not ridiculous at all.
Okay,
it's
so
not ridiculous at all.
this is kind of my wheelhouse. What specifically are you talking about? We went to the moon because of a woman. What specifically do you want?
The
chick
whole
did the math.
bunch of mathematicians that were behind that.
So there was an office of astrodynamics, if you will.
This is where you're losing me. You don't need to make fun. You can educate me. You don't need to make fun.
There were 600,000 people that worked on Gemini.
Of course.
And 98% of them were men.
But again, because men would not let women go into the positions that they rightfully deserve to go into.
We didn't land on the moon specifically because of a woman. Now, there were some like calculations that had to be redone, especially like during Apollo 13. And yes, in that offensive, the women were literally called calculators. That's what the name of them were. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I'm not trying to disparage them because obviously I'm a big fan of anybody who did that in the moon landing. But the reality of the situation is it wasn't the majority. It wasn't even 1%.
Say that. And I probably overgeneralized when I said that. But I'm just saying, like, and by the way, I was the first person on this show to say that I definitely agree that we need men and men are amazing and all of these other things. Like, so I just want to clarify. I'm not like pulling some like feminism movement. But he was also the first
person that disagreed when I said that women need guidance. And this further proves my point, right? Because women tend to prioritize. You got your prioritizations messed up. You tend to prioritize what's good instead of what's best, right? So this conversation that we're having, you're saying that, well, women can do this. Well, women can do this. They can be good. You said that, well, yeah, you lifted or did something and you met a standard that an 18-year-old met, right? An 18-year-old boy. Well, okay,
when
good.
I was a 17-year-old girl.
But that's good. But that's not what's best to do. And men just happen to be better at the job. Not only that, let me ask you all the questions. Show of hands real quick, right? So are y'all pro-woman? Who's pro-women?
Absolutely.
Pro-women?
I love women.
I'm pro-women. Women are great.
Pro-women. And we would all agree. The males would agree with this. So, but it's kind of funny how can you be pro-woman, but you would want a woman to go into a war zone and risk everything? That doesn't even make sense. That's very nonsensical.
You're saying pro-woman. You're advocating for her, supporting her in whatever decision she makes. That's how we're pro-woman.
Now you're bringing up rights.
Yeah, now you're bringing up rights, and that's an entirely different conversation with men grant rights.
A decision. I'm saying strictly a decision. You're supporting a decision. That's being pro-woman. I'm not talking about legalities. I'm talking about pro-woman.
Okay, so pro-woman so they can go into a war zone and get their head blown off? That's very nonsensical.
What they choose
I mean, I literally
so you
did
would
that.
want women to choose something that would
I didn't say I want them to. I said you are support. You asked who supports women.
No, but this is what I'm saying. You have to be able to differentiate things. You're saying that you are a pro-woman, but then you want women to enlist into the military. It makes no sense. How can you be pro-woman?
No, I
want
disagree.
to protect women.
I disagree with you there, my friend, because like I absolutely think women should serve a minimum of 2 years, like many other countries do. There's so many incredible essential roles that could be that they could fulfill.
But those countries' fighting forces are underwhelming in comparison to our volunteer force, and our volunteer force is mostly of 18 to 23-year-old males. And they are extremely skilled at their jobs.
And so are the women.
They're also very physically fit. This is the big thing.
So are the women.
If you have tanks, and tanks are in a big fight with each other.
I have to disagree with you on the mostly of physically fit. I completely disagree with you.
They're far more physically fit than that. They're far more physically fit than the females who are in the military, yes.
There are a lot of
across the board.
Wait a second. We weren't talking about genders just a second ago.
No, I was actually bringing this back to say, let's just say you had tanks. Just, I don't know, 2,000 tanks on both sides, an all-female versus all-male army.
Who's to say my tank can't blow your tank?
Yeah, okay,
right out?
hang on, let me finish.
Yeah.
I'll blow your tank up.
I agree.
Okay, I get it.
Then
You
you're
blow the
gone.
tank up.
But
Who's
a man
going to lift up
built
the
the
big
tank.
heavy-ass
Yeah,
shell?
Yeah, a
I
man
actually
built the
think
tank.
that all the women
Who's going to
here
lift the
could-
big heavy-ass
Me.
shell?
It's not
Me,
that
can you look
heavy.
something
And
up?
you're going to
What's
take
that?
the
So,
lift
real
the big
quick.
heavy-ass shell.
I
Can
have.
you look something
Wait,
up?
time out. Stop. Amy, the issue is while I understand your argument, you're making the argument from like you're basically Shaquille O'Neal telling us to all be tall. Like
Right.
you're so far outside the norm. Congratulations. I'm not saying it's bad, but you understand
the
most
exception
women
Not really,
are
because all
most women are
women
not
have
going to
a
be able to do
standardized
what it
test
is
to
that you were
pass
able to
in
do.
order to be in the
Going back to what
military.
you said before, there's been thousands of SEAL candidates. There have been 18 women to go through SEAL training, and one in 2001 made it through. And because of that, her identity is classified.
Okay, one.
One. Now, I guarantee you, if I met her, I'd be able to tell which one it was. I guarantee you, if I saw her, but you went through fucking. I guarantee you, if I met her, I'd be like, "You're the one. You're the fucking SEAL."
But
Yeah.
my point is like even just doing the grind maintenance requirements for like let's put this tread back on while we're in the field. Let's carry these really heavy shells up this hill by the 100. All of those are also physical requirements of soldiers. And while you may be an exception to the rule, generally speaking, men are going to be far better suited for that role.
I guarantee
which means
I
that
could
they
lift
would,
more than you can.
which means that ultimately, even if you could, what the fuck would that have to do with anything?
Because you're making a general statement that a
Because
man
we're
can
talking
do it,
about a general statement.
But I know, but you're saying just because of a man, you suck, literally,
Okay.
like from head to toe.
Great argument.
Like I guarantee you, I can lift more than you.
Is it?
Probably.
I got another super chat here. I want to know if this is true. Rusty Fuel says
You got me.
Israel tried using women in combat, but they stopped because they took too many casualties.
They were killing it. I was following that story for a while. They were really doing an amazing job.
In Israel?
Can we talk about a statistic real quick?
Yeah.
So we're talking about like having the same
I
resources,
think it was
men
Ukraine.
versus women, right?
Ukraine.
So like we have tanks on this side and then men have tanks on this side. So the average ASVAB score for a man is 47. The average ASVAB score for a woman is 50.
It's
So
true,
we are
yeah.
technically
I was
smarter.
a recruiter for 6
it's not
years.
that.
Can
Hold
be
on,
more
hold on.
strategic.
Time out. What you're doing is you're selecting for a select few group of women who, do you understand, most women don't have the audacity to join the military in the fucking first place.
Yeah,
it's about
that's
8% of women.
Oh, you're talking about drafting women.
but so,
Talking about the end of the curve,
So
too.
this is the result. The result is smarter, more assertive women will then want to join the military, and that's why you're going to get that. Of course, like the thing is also the standards as far as ASVAB scores. If you want to be an 11 Bravo, no offense, guys, I love you
Yeah,
guys.
lowest
I love
score,
you guys.
lowest score.
But 11 Bravos, you don't have to have a fucking high score because
Yeah.
you carry a rucksack and a fucking M4. That's the
Yeah.
reason why.
Yeah,
So
and
that
just to elaborate on my point before that I made, right? I said that are you pro women? And the guys, of course, raise their hands as we should because we are pro women. But some women raise their hands that they are pro women, but then also had disagreements with the super chat. So think about it. I would say that men are more pro women than men are more pro women than women are because we are looking to protect you. You argued and said choice, right? So now you're looking at we got to differentiate the two. So choice, you said, well, we want women to have choice. Well, I'm saying that men, we protect women, right? So let me ask you a question. Do you have a kid?
No.
You don't have a kid. Let's say if you did have a kid, right? You birthed this kid you had this kid in your belly for 9 months. You took this kid through, elementary school, and now they're in middle school. Throughout those years that you've raised that child, right? What would you be prioritizing? Their choice or protecting them from their bad choices?
When they are of an age where they can't make a decision for themselves and they can't fend for themselves, I think it's pretty obvious that you're making their choices for them.
But
No.
I feel
That's
like
not my
you're
question. Let me rephrase this.
relating
That's not
women
my
to being
question.
children.
I'm
Right,
saying
exactly.
no. Well, it's really
When we're definitely
a
not.
relatable topic. Women tend to be similar to is what I'm pretty
David,
much what
you
I'm
do
saying
a
in certain,
really good
certain
job
aspects.
of invoking emotion and
No.
stir it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and
no,
you
no.
give
You're
the
really good at
condescending tone that you swear you don't have.
He's really good at
Oh,
his
That
job.
you
y'all
have-
back
While-
to the beginning podcast.
No,
is because
while
y'all
you're
wrong.
while you're calling
How's
us
it wrong? You're
children.
asking me an
Great exchange.
opinion.
This was a great
Hold on.
exchange.
If you ask
Exactly
an
what he wanted
opinion,
from
you
you.
cannot tell me I'm wrong. Period.
No.
If you ask me a question, I give you my
proved
opinion.
My
You
point.
can't say no.
So listen, you're actually
Okay.
proving my point here, right? So what I'm saying is that men are more pro-women than women are,
And he's
because
talk
if
to you
you
in a
want
nice and slow voice so that you sound like a crazy bitch.
Right. Now I'm the
Sounds
overly
like a
emotional
male.
Yeah, great. So
Yeah.
let me finish my
So-
sentence here, right? So what I'm saying is that men are more pro women
I'm gonna
than
let you
women
finish,
are.
but
just
I'm gonna let you
because-
finish, but
yeah, great. But and the facts is that what I'm stating here is because you said that we are pro woman because we want women for choice. We want women to have choice. I'm saying that's nonsensical, because if you had a child, you wouldn't be wanting your kids. You would be like, wait, don't touch that stove. That's hot. What is that? What is that?
At the end of the day, you're talking about two separate things. I'm
that's
talking
not
about
two separate
adults that
things.
can make their own decisions.
And I
we
just
are
gotta
not
tell you-
talking about animals or children or things that need to be protected because they don't know better.
You're assuming
Two
all men
different
want to
things.
So,
protect,
no,
and that is
it's-
not why a lot of men join the
it's an
military. I can
example.
promise you that. A
It's
lot
a
of men
bad
join the
example.
No, it's
military.
not a bad
It's a
example.
bad
I-
example. Hold on.
It's a very
It's a
fair
bad
example.
example that leads nothing but for us to say something that makes us look dumb.
No, wrong.
It is a push of the narrative that you want for us to agree with you, even though what we're saying has nothing to do with what you're saying.
And this
You're
is coming
incorrect.
from a guy who thinks he's going to choose his daughter's husband.
Okay,
So-
Right, because she has to be in love with him, and it's going to last
listening,
forever.
You're not listening to understand.
daughter's
Me and you having this conversation. You said that. Well, guess what? Well, I want women to have choice, and choice
I
is
didn't
more.
say any of that. You
That is
asked,
what you said.
No.
Can we
you
rewind
asked.
it? Can we?
You asked, raise show of hands of people pro women. I agreed. I am pro
And
woman.
then guess what I said?
And
I said, so then
the
why
choice.
would you want women to go to war? You said because of choice. I said that, well, men are more pro women is because we want to protect women.
Not
right?
all men. Not all men.
This
a
is
lot of
what
men
we're
that
arguing
a lot
for, and
of
I
men
was
join the
generally-
military.
Can
for
I
other
use a
reasons.
different example that's like David's? The situation with Lindsey Hill and Trevor Bauer, or the situation with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. In those situations, I was fucking livid when I saw that this woman, because I work with domestic abuse charities, when these women went there and said that their men hit them when they didn't. But why am I the one who's angry about this? Who should be angry about this are women. Women should be so much more angry about the Amber Heard situation than men should be, because they sat there and say, well, believe all women. Well, how can we believe all women now? She shit on his bed. You can't, let's just be real. Like that's how crazy it is. When women, like the thing with Lindsey Hill, complete, total made up, and Trevor Bauer lost 300 MLB games because this woman lied about him. And that the whole thing is what he's saying to what he's saying before. Who should really be mad about this? Whose cause has been set back by women lying? Is it my cause? No, it's women's cause. And that's the point. Women should be more upset about this than men are.
bad seed
I'm
women
upset
and there's
about it.
bad seed men, and that's not the argument at hand. The argument or the discussion at hand was, should we be pro women? And all I said was for a woman to have the choice.
Right. So
Yeah.
now I'm comparing choice to protection, right? So choice is free will. Oh, well, we all got free will that God granted us. We pretty much, can do whatever we want, right? So as part as a man, the reason why I compared it to a parent, because a parent needs to protect their kid. The reason why so a man needs to protect a woman, right? Needs to protect women. So what I'm saying is that men are more pro women than women are, is because we literally have a natural proclivity to protect you, which you're just prioritizing choice. I'm prioritizing protection. So I am more pro women than you are.
I think you're maybe part of like a group of men that have that mindset, but I promise you, I was a recruiter for the military for 6 years. That is not the reason a lot of men join the military. Some men join the military because the judge says, hey, you did a really bad thing. You got a choice. You can go to jail or you can get in the military. Some men join the military because their dads beat the shit out of them and they just want to go prove that they're tougher than their fathers. So it's nothing to do.
We're not
Or
talking
some
about the
join to serve
joining.
their country.
We're not speaking about the joining. We're
But
arguing.
you were talking about that because you said, going back to the pro women thing, you're saying that men are more pro women than women are because you have this drive to protect, and that conversation stemmed directly from